Hi, my name is Tess Payne. I'm DLEAH's Marketing Director.
Hi, my name is Laird, and I'm the Brand Marketing Specialist for DLEAH.
Our team is responsible for managing all of our social media channels and responding to online feedback, both good and bad, which is what we're here talking to you about today. Online feedback is really important. If you haven't watched the video yet on why you should be looking at online feedback and why it's important to you and your team, please do so, because today we're going to talk about how we actually respond to online feedback, especially when it's negative. So what happens when you get negative online feedback? It doesn't feel good, and I know my initial response is to argue with it, hide, or ignore it completely. But that's not actually the best thing for us to do. The best thing you can do is respond to it, even though it's hard. But our team has 3 really simple tips and a really easy guide for you to follow that you can use in your own day-to-day management of social media and online feedback. Negative feedback can have a really significant impact on the health and happiness of your team, and it can also impact your business. So one of the best things you can do is to become comfortable in how you respond to negative criticism and online feedback when you do receive it. And planning ahead and communicating with your team is important. If you don't plan ahead, what ends up happening is you are responding in the heat of the moment, and you're responding from an emotional place, and we almost always regret those responses when we do respond in the moment. So our team sits down and has a really clear guide to how we're typically going to respond to criticism, and we follow 3 clear steps. The first is to show empathy. Oftentimes that comes across as an apology, but I want to make it really clear that there's a difference between apologizing and accepting blame and showing empathy. When you receive online criticism, you might not actually agree with what your client has said, but by showing empathy, you can recognize that they are feeling something, and that's really important to do. The second is to keep it brief. Oftentimes, negative feedback or negative reviews is really long, but you don't actually have to respond point by point. What I typically recommend doing is keeping it short and responding at a high level to their overarching concern. And then the third part is to take it offline. You don't have to argue everything in the court of public opinion. Respond to the person and then offer to call them or to have them call you so that you can further engage them and answer their questions. So once you're comfortable with the 1, 2, 3 with empathy, brevity, and privacy, we recommend developing a short script that you can customize for any negative feedback that comes in. Our team uses one, and it says, "We're sorry that you're not happy with your recent experience. We never want your clients to leave with whatever emotion they're feeling, and we've taken your feedback seriously. If you have some time to discuss your experience in greater detail, please call us. Thank you again for sharing your thoughts." A simple script like this shows empathy, it keeps the conversation short, and it allows you to take it offline. The danger you run into when you have a script like this is you can come across a little cookie cutter and disingenuous, and when somebody is reviewing your comments feed, you really want them to get the sense of who you are and how your team manages customer service in a good way. So we work really hard to customize this language, but the script gives us a framework. Molly, do you have any tips for how we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So a first way to start is simply putting their name within the review. So we take your feedback seriously, so-and-so. And really showcasing the pet's name as well, if they do mention it in their review, is a simple way to make it a little more personalized. And if you have the opportunity to look at their case file and kind of see what the situation was like, it helps to kind of give that personal touch within the review.
So once you become comfortable with the 3 tips and how you're going to respond, I really encourage you to communicate that with your team so that they can keep a really healthy mindset when they do see negative feedback and they also see your responses. Helping them understand why you're responding in the first place, how you're responding, and the difference between apologizing and showing empathy can lead to a much healthier, happier, more united team mindset. And finally, we've been focusing a lot on negative criticism, and it is really important, and that is oftentimes where our focus ends up leading. But don't forget to share the good feedback with your team. I know you're receiving it, and sharing it is a really fun way of building morale and helping keep people happy. How do we do that here?
Yeah, so a lot of the time when I get those positive reviews and they mention a certain, vet tech or veterinarian, I pass that along alongside the front desk staff just to share the news that we have a great positive review and it's mentioning them by name to give that personal touch so everybody can really kind of enjoy and share that there was that great story that went along with the review.
Online feedback can be really hard to manage, and it's really hard to take home negative feedback every single day. So stick to the 3 tips of showing empathy, keeping it brief, and taking it offline so that you and your team can have a healthy relationship with online feedback.